fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Pauline Verzosa. Former Senate President Mig Zubiri said he was shocked and dumbfounded after learning that Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa voted to oust him. In his resignation speech, Zubiri thanked de la Rosa for sticking with him until the end. Recall that de la Rosa was crying while Zubiri was delivering his resignation speech. After finding out that de la Rosa is one of the 15 senators who voted to oust him, Zubiri said defending de la Rosa cost him his Senate presidency.
Hinakap mo pa yung asawa ko. Di ba? Parang, wow, ba't niyo pa hinakap ang asawa? I'm in shock. But sige lang, ganun talaga ang politika, di ba? I mean, there's no permanent friends, only permanent interests. Medyo masakit. Masakit. Pero okay lang.
In his defense, De La Rosa said he really wanted to side with Zubiri. However, he made a pact with senators from his political party, PDP Laban, that they have to side with majority votes.
Napaiyak ako dahil for me being a good soldier, ang gusto ko sabihin kay Mix doon is, sorry boss, I failed to win the war for you. In this case, nangyari silang dalawa talaga ay nag-decide na sumuporta kay Senator Jesus Escudero. Ako ay naiwan. I want to stay with ayaw ko sana. Pero yun nga, may usapan kami.
Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel said he had no idea that an ouster plot against former Senate President Mig Zubiri was brewing. In an interview with 1PH sa Totoo Lang, Pimentel thought the ouster plot was kept under the wraps properly. He said he only found out about it from other people. Pimentel and Senator Risa Ontiveros did not vote in ousting Zubiri as Senate President because they are part of the minority bloc.
Hindi ko naramdaman, kaya kinailangan akong i-inform. Kasi ang ibig sabihin ng ramdam is na informally na nalaman mo eh.
Yes.
Hindi ko nalaman, kailangan ako sabihan na merong mangyayari. Pero nalaman ko na beforehand, mga sa weekend ko nalaman. Tawag-tawag, so marami nagtatawag ganyan parang so sabihin nun, magaling din ang pagkatago ng kilos kasi hindi ko nga naramdaman eh. Kasi kailangan pa ako sabihan eh.
Former Senate Deputy Majority Leader J.V. Ejercito says external factors led to Senator Mig Zubiri's ouster as Senate President. Here's an excerpt from his interview on The Big Story.
They keep denying it though. All the other half of the Senate keep saying it has nothing to do with the PIDEA hearings. What do you know, Senator? I mean, just last time we were talking to Senator Jinggoy about it, and he said no.
Well, I would say I'm a witness. I'm being one of the deputy majority leader. I'm part of the leadership. I am in the Senate. I'm the first in and the last out. Not being the deputy majority leader, I'm always on the floor. I would say that most senators are satisfied with the handling and the leadership of Senate President Mig Zubiri. Even our minority leader, Coco Pimentel, speak out that he said that he was satisfied and even praised Senator Zubiri for being fair.
We also did speak with Senator Amy Marcos, also back in March, where she said something curious. She said the pressure versus Senate President Zubiri was coming from the outside. Does that statement make sense to you?
I agree with her that it is indeed in external forces, powers that be probably, or the other house, I don't know, maybe a collusion. But definitely for senators, some senators to turn their backs and to change their minds, all of a sudden, the House of Representatives leadership assigned talking heads who were relentless in attacking the Senate. No, ever since the heat of the conflict during the PI in the Senate as an institution. So I would agree with Senator Marcos definitely that there are outside forces that were really responsible in this leadership change. it started with the PI because the House leadership at the time were really persistent and determined to go through with the People's Initiative. And from what they perceived, that with the current leadership or composition of the Senate, that it has no chance of making it or passing in the Senate. That's why they really they were bent on pushing PI. So now I would think that the last hot issue was the PIDEA hearings under the Committee on Public Order. That's why we think that it's probably because of that it really cost the presidency of Senator Zubiri, because apparently he failed to stop this series. But as I mentioned earlier, Gretchen, Regina, Sean, the Senate, it's 24 republics. We do not do that. We do not dictate upon our members. It's up to them. We give them the liberty on how they would handle their respective committees.
The person who called the other senators that they couldn't refuse because he or she was very powerful. You can't name names, I understand that, but can you just confirm, was it someone from the Senate or external then?
External.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I have no idea who, but this person just said that somebody that they just cannot say no to.
The Philippine peso has dropped to its lowest level against the dollar in almost 2 years. According to the Bankers Association of the Philippines, the peso opened Tuesday at 57.97 and fell to 58.20, and by 11 a.m. closing at 58.27. It's an 18-month low and just 1 peso shy of the all-time low. Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Governor Eli Remolona attributed the decline to a strong dollar, noting the Federal Reserve's indication of a delay in interest rate cuts. Remolona added that the central bank would step in when necessary to smoothen excessive volatility and restore order during periods of stress. In the big story last night, Security Bank Chief Economist Robert Dan Roses attributes the weakening of the Philippine peso to the trade gap and potential policy changes by the BSP.
Well, that's true, no? We're observing a strong dollar, but it's not just the strong dollar. While the US dollar strength remains a factor, we have a trade gap as well to contend with. So that also contributes to the peso's depreciation. So trade gap, which means import are outpacing exports. So that means locally, there's more demand for dollars so to fund those activities. So that actually also contributes to the weakening of the peso. Also, there are other domestic factors.
President Bongbong Marcos attended the Indo-Pacific Business Forum in Taguig on Tuesday. In his speech, Marcos emphasized the country's commitment to sustainable economic growth through the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. He also highlighted clean energy, digital transformation, and supply chain resilience. The president called on foreign investors to leverage reforms in investing in the Philippines. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Pauline Verzosa. Let's now take a quick look at today's other headlines. Senator Bato de la Rosa explains that his decision to vote Senate President Mig Zubiri out was a party deal to abide with the majority. The Philippine Star quoted him as saying, quote, "Sorry boss, I failed to win the war for you," addressed to Zubiri. Meanwhile, Business World reports that the Philippine peso closed at the 58 per dollar level for the first time in over 18 months on Tuesday. The Bangko Sentral warns that it will intervene in the foreign exchange market when necessary to smoothen excessive volatility and restore order. And still bring an umbrella wherever you go. It's not just for the rain, but also for today's heat. According to Pag-asa's monitoring, light and scattered rains are still possible across the country due to the prevailing easterlies. However, this doesn't mean it will feel cooler. The agency predicts that over 40 locations in the country will experience danger level heat index today. The highest heat index is expected in Apari, Cagayan, reaching up to 47 degrees Celsius. This will be followed by Lawag, Ilocos Norte, Virac, Catanduanes, and Rojas City, Capiz. Agricultural damage from the strong El Nino has surged to 9.5 billion pesos, affecting more than 175,000 farmers and fisher folk, according to the Department of Agriculture. DA reported yesterday that rice is the hardest hit commodity, accounting for 4.6 billion pesos of the total damage. Corn and high-value crops have also suffered significant losses, estimated at 3.17 billion pesos and 1.65 billion pesos respectively. The DA has provided 8.59 billion pesos in aid to affected farmers through the Rice Farmers Financial Assistance Program, along with 600 million pesos in agricultural inputs and equipment. Pag-asa, on the other hand, reports that the El Nino phenomenon is weakening and expected to transition to neutral in June. Batangas State University is now cultivating tilapia alongside lettuce using aquaponics. This sustainable farming and aquaculture method is becoming more efficient with the help of artificial intelligence. At para bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal, Francis Orsio.
Sa mga plantito't plantita po dyan, alam nyo bang advanced na rin ang pagpapalago ng halaman ngayon? Gamit kasi ang Artificial Intelligence o AI, mas mapapadali na ang trabaho at pwede mo pang sabayan ng pag-aalaga ng tilapia. Ibinibida ngayon sa Batangas State University ang level up na pag-aalaga ng tanim na lettuce at tilapia na kung tawagin ay aquaponics. Parang sistema lang ng hydroponics kung saan pinalalago ang halaman kahit walang lupa. Pero ang siste sa aquaponics farming, ang tubig na ipinangdidilig sa lettuce ay mula sa water tank ng mga isdang tilapia. At ang pataba o fertilizer sa mga lettuce ay ang dumi ng isda.
Yung waste ng isda nga po ay ginagamit as nutrients ng plants. So from there po, nabubuo yung aquaponics system, ina-balance ng isda, balance ng plants at saka ng bacteria sa water.
Pero kung iisipin, matrabaho ang pag-monitor sa ganitong sistema. Bukod kasi sa pinapalago mo ang mga lettuce, inaalagaan mo pa ang mga isda at binabantayan ang kalidad ng tubig. Dito na naisipan ng mga eksperto mula Batangas State University at Turbulent Drip Sales Incorporated at pinondohan ng Department of Science and Technology ang paggamit ng Artificial Intelligence o AI.
Instead na bantayan natin yung aquaponics systems to maintain the balance, si AI na ang gagawa nun. Doon naging innovative yung ating approach.
Dito ay may mga monitoring devices na ginagamit para mapabilis ang pagkalap ng datos pagdating sa kalidad ng tubig, dami ng dumi mula sa tilapia at nutrient composition ng tubig na ipinangdidilig sa lettuce. Ang paggamit ng AI sa aquaponics farming ay nag-iisa at kauna-unahang sinimulan ng Batangas State University. Matipid din daw ito sa tubig na mahalaga ngayong tag-init at may El Nino pa. Bukod kasi sa mababa lang ang demand ng lettuce sa tubig pandilig, naaabot lang sa 20 liters kada taon, nare-recycle pa ito pabalik sa water tank ng mga alagang tilapia.
Kung sa lupa mo siya itatanim, magdidilig ka, yung tubig noon, saan pupunta? Magsisip na yun sa ilalim ng lupa. Imagine in this system na yung tubig na hindi kailangan ng plants ay bumabalik sa isda. Very water efficient po ito.
Sa ngayon, hindi pa po binibenta ang mga naaning lettuce, pati ang alagang tilapia dahil bago pa lang ang proyekto. Pero sabi ng mga eksperto, kung ikaw ay plantito o plantita, pwede nyo ring subukan ang aquaponics farming sa inyong bakuran. Mobile journalist Francis Orsio po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Pauline Verzosa. We are One News.